As a nation, we have to ask, when in God's name are we going to stand up to the gun lobby? When in God's name we do what we all know in our gut needs to be done?
I just watched Joe Biden address the nation after coming back from Asia, calling for common sense gun laws, and said it was time to turn this pain into action. This pain today is 19 children and 2 adults dying at the hands of a lone gunman, an 18-year-old who executed 18 elementary school children. Just 10 days after 10 black people were executed by a white supremacist in Buffalo, New York State. I'm a father, I have 2 kids. One of them is elementary school age. She's 6. My boy is 4. I've been thinking about the parents of all of these children. They say the kids are somewhere aged between 6 and 7 or 6 and 8 that are not alive anymore, have now died. And for a parent to lose a child is probably the worst thing that can ever happen. To have your child die before you die as a parent. If you're a parent, you'll understand what this means and how those of us who have children have an even increased level of empathy. I come from a country where we don't have guns. There's no guns. The police do not carry guns. There's no gun crime. Certainly not on a level of anything like this. I mean, America has more gun crime and more homicides than any other country in the world, not just by a bit, but by a country mile. In 2020 alone, more than 45,000 Americans died at the end of a barrel of a gun, whether by homicide or suicide, more than any other year on record. A 25% increase from 5 years previously and a 43% increase from 2010. Democrats unanimously support stricter gun laws. 91% in favor. Republicans, nah. The same poll said 24% of Republicans agreed that there needed to be some change to gun law. The NRA went bankrupt and now they're back, aren't they? The most powerful gun lobby in the US. With a substantial budget to influence members of Congress on gun policy. They pay Congresspeople to remain on the side of the National Rifle Association, to oppose gun control and gun laws. And a number of states have gone as far as to eliminate restrictions on who can carry a gun. In fact, in June last year, Greg Abbott, the very governor who has spoken today in Texas, his state, where 19 children have been executed, signed into law a permitless carry bill, allowing the state's residents to carry handguns without a license or without any training. Georgia, in April, became the 25th in the nation to eliminate the need for a permit to conceal or openly carry a firearm. That means that any citizen of that state has the right to carry a firearm without a license or a permit. And guess what? The law was backed by the NRA, and leaders within the organization called the move a monumental moment for the Second Amendment. The Founding Fathers, when they spoke of a well-stocked militia, were referring to a musket that could fire a single shot, not to semi-automatic weapons, not to the kinds of guns that you might expect to see used in Afghanistan. This is America. How many children have to die before the emotions kick in with Republican senators? At what point does a Republican senator go from being somebody who is pure evil, who chooses to line their own pockets over the life of American citizens? At what point do they go, you know something? I'm a little bit upset by this. I mean, do these people expect to live forever and just keep accepting the bungs, the bribes, and the wealth? What are they going to do with all this money? It seems to me like the value of life in America is a lot lower than it is elsewhere, certainly in the UK where I'm from, and definitely in most other places of the world. You know, for humans to die, even children to die, what is the value of their life? Because by today's count, and by the unlikely legislation that will follow, Maybe this is why they're so desperate to ban abortion. You know, they want to replace the children that are being killed in schools and not feel guilty. Keep the guns, let the children be executed. Abortion means more kids will be born, so it kind of doesn't matter. Is that the thinking of Republican lawmakers? Or maybe they're just not thinking at all. What will it take to bring about change to gun laws in America? Keep your handgun if you want. If you have a handgun that you want to use for self-defense, licensed, trained, locked away in a special place in the home, okay, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But we're not talking about this. We're talking about gunmen in military fatigues, going into schools, going into churches, and behaving like the kind of characters they see on the Fortnite video game. It doesn't happen in any other country in the world. It only happens in America. I'm Anthony Davis. You can catch me on the 5 Minute News podcast every weekday and on Sundays on the Weekend Show with MeidasTouch.